This is part 7 and the final video in this series where we're touring Spring Hill, Florida, so you could decide if you want to move here. If you have any questions about Spring Hill, you can reach out using the contact information in the description below. You can also reach out if you're looking to make a move and you already decided that you're moving here. If you haven't seen parts 1 through 6, you can also check the description for some links to those videos, or go to my channel, click on playlist, and you'll find all the videos there as well. In this video, we're covering Barclay and Anderson Snow Road, which is technically one road, but let's jump right in. Alright, so we're starting on the south side of County Line Road near Ryan Homes, or the Park Ridge Villas. This right here is Anderson Snow Road. As I mentioned, Anderson Snow turns into Barclay eventually. But right now we're turning into Ryan Homes. It's a new construction townhome community. There's really not too many sites. I don't know the exact acreage. That was a weird pause. Ryan Homes is starting at about $298. Most of these units or all of these units are 3.2s, 1,500 square feet with a 2-car garage. The HOA is $157 per month. And I believe they're going to have pickleball courts here. Ryan Homes also was building Suncoast Landing, which was on County Line Road, one of the first videos that we did on this series. So as you could tell, they're building a presence here in Spring Hill. They're actually typically not a traditional builder in Spring Hill. Over the past few years, though, they've been doing a lot more. That highway you see in the distance, that is the Suncoast Parkway that runs north and south. As I've mentioned multiple times in these videos, you can access the Suncoast Parkway from 50 up north all the way down to Tampa and near the airport. You can actually go a little bit north of 50 now. They extended that highway into Citrus County. The Suncoast Trail goes across this tree line on the right, and then we are turning left now into Whiting Estates, which is by William Ryan Homes. There's actually a correlation between those two, Ryan Homes and William Ryan Homes. Whiting Estates, though, the HOA is $283 per quarter. There's no CDD. You have quick move-in homes that are in the 500 range. There's one available now for $575, but prices range anywhere from $448 up to $555 if they're not quick move-in. There's really no amenities. I believe there is a park, and that actually might not even be this. That might actually be Anderson Snow Estates, which we're going to take a look at. So I don't believe there's any amenities in this community, but as you can see, the houses are nice. They're larger homes, a little bit bigger lots, but since the houses are so big and most are one story, they take up a larger footprint, so it kind of affects the lot size. But not as jam-packed as some of the other communities, but for me personally, I'd want something a little bit bigger. Really nice homes though, and definitely larger homes and going up into the 3,000 square feet range. This is the first phase. There's actually a second phase that we're going to drive past here in a second. That white gate goes into Avalon. I don't believe it'll ever be opened or you'll ever have access or through traffic that goes through there. But right here, we're going to make a right, and this is phase 2. As you can see on some of these signs, they've already sold some of these lots and they plan on building on them. But I don't know how many, probably another 40 home sites here. But that was it. Everything we just drove right there was Whiting Estates. I don't know if they have plans for future phases, but as of now, you could tell it's a pretty small community. Now we're back onto Anderson Snow Road. Again, you can see across the street, that is the Suncoast Parkway. Now, behind Avalon and behind Whiting Estates, there's a lot of larger lots. You'll find like acre lots, half acre lots, pretty much at a minimum. And we didn't check that out in this video because we did it in a previous video where we covered Spring Hill Drive. We drove back there near like Cooper Road and Linden and stuff like that. But on the right here, this is Anderson Snow Park. This is where I grew up playing baseball. They also have soccer fields, softball, youth softball, and also men's softball. They also have a pretty nice and renovated playground, tons of parking. A lot of people park here to get on the Suncoast Trail, whether they're going to bike or walk or run. This is where they'll start it. There's that playground I mentioned. Concession stand. Little conference hall right there on the right. And then there's also this new splash park or splash pad that's coming soon. That's actually under construction on the right there. I don't know if you'll be able to see it maybe once we spin around here, but it's all cleared already. And then this is the concession stand and the pavilion for the soccer fields. That dirt there on the right was the splash pad. Alright, so now we're driving back onto Anderson Snow, passing the soccer fields. I believe there's like 8 fields of different sizes depending on the age group. On the right here, we're turning into a gymnastics place. This is relatively new. I can't remember what it was before, but this opened maybe a few years ago. I'm just going to drive through the front to give you a quick glance at it. It's Top Contenders Gymnastics if you want to Google it to check out the inside. Across the street we have an apartment complex, the villas at Spring Hill. And then on the left here is MI Homes, which is building Anderson Snow Estates. Anderson Snow Estates has an HOA of $83 per month. There's no CDD. They currently have a pretty good new construction rate or new construction promotion with an interest rate of 4.85%. The quick move-in homes are ranging from 409 to 563, and then you have the new builds that are from the ground up, starting at 330 for smaller homes up to 470. This also is not just a spec builder or like a cookie cutter builder. You actually can make changes and add upgrades to the home, which can get pretty pricey, but you can still build like a base model in that range that I mentioned, which is 330 to 470, and then the quick move-ins that are available pretty much right now, 409 to 563. They do have a park and an open space, which we'll stop at, as I mentioned before, and there is really no other amenities besides that. As you can see though, they are still pretty early on in the process, so there's plenty of lots that you can pursue if you're interested. As you can tell as well, there's also a mailbox, so you don't have a mailbox in front of your house. You actually have like a mailbox station that's assigned to you. And then right here, we're going to pull into that little parking spot to show you the new playground. All right, now we're pretty much about halfway down this street, this combination of streets between Anderson Snow Road and Barclay, Barclay Ave, I think it is. On the right there is going to be an animal hospital, a new animal hospital. There's some storage places on the left. And then as we approach this light, which is Spring Hill Drive, you have Zaxby's, Burger King, Taco Bell, AutoZone. Rookie Sports Bar and Grill was on the left there. It's also a new massage place that I just went to, and that place was great. If you go there, ask for Lisa. She was phenomenal. There's also the Walmart Neighborhood Market, as you can see. We covered this in a previous video too, briefly. But it just kind of shows you the proximity that some of those communities that we just looked at, the proximity to things like Walmart, restaurants, fast food, gas stations, Walgreens, which is across the street there. And then also we have Publix, which is on the right here once we pass the light. There's Publix, UPS, Blvd's, and Pinch a Penny, Chinese restaurant. All that's on the right here. There's also a Truist Bank, Wendy's, a 7-Eleven. To the left here, that brick wall, which I do have in my top 5 communities video. I did a video on Pristine Place, which that's Pristine Place right there. But we also talked about Pristine Place briefly in I think like part 2 or 3 of this series. But right here on the right, we have a couple of storage places, and there's also an apartment complex. This is Ariel Springs, the white fence. Sorry if you heard the ice maker, someone's in my kitchen. Really not much to see here, but it's an option to, if you're looking for a rental. It's not an apartment complex, more so like little villas or townhouses. I guess they technically are apartments, but they're not like multi-story apartments, so in my opinion it's a little bit better. Yeah, if you're enjoying this content and you find it valuable, be sure to hit that like button. The YouTube algorithm loves when you do that, and it really helps support the channel. Also, make sure to subscribe for future videos on Spring Hill and the Tampa area in general. And I just realized I've been playing this music, so let me cut that off, and hopefully it wasn't too loud this whole time. That music will be in the background of the video anyway, so you might hear it twice now. But on the right here is Powell Middle School. It's actually where my niece goes. My brother went here too growing up. And they have a nice little baseball field. There's also a football field in the back. You can check out the school and the ratings and the grade on, what's it called? Greatschools.org if you want to check out that. Here's Powell and Elgin, so we covered that, I believe was in part 6. So if you want to check out those videos or past videos, you can check the description below, and I have some links to each of those. Here on the right we have Silverthorne. It's that gated community. We're going to go in here and check that out. So Silverthorne is unique because they have villas and single family homes. As you can see, two twos for a villa are 289 to 309 right now. There's also some single family homes with pools or without pools for 325 for a 2-2 up to a million, but realistically those $1,800,000 houses are probably closer to like 6, 7, maybe 800,000. But yeah, this is the community clubhouse, a golf course. They have a restaurant, bar, meeting rooms, conference rooms, and stuff like that. They also have a pool, basketball courts, tennis courts, and playground. For villas, the HOA is $981 per quarter, and then single family homes is $496 per quarter. There's no CDD. That was the second clubhouse, or pretty much like the pool clubhouse. And as I mentioned, the larger clubhouse with where you would go to golf, that has meeting rooms, bar and restaurant, and there's also an event space in there as well. So now we're just going to drive around this community, let you guys check it out, and I'll come back once we're finished. All right, I know that was pretty long, but I hope I gave you a good idea on that community. It's really nice, very well maintained, and it's really not too bad as far as HOAs go. As I mentioned, $981 per quarter for the villas, which are maintenance free, and then the single family homes are $496 per quarter. So now we're technically on Barclay, and Barclay goes all the way down to State Road 50 or Cortez Boulevard. There's really not too much going on here. A lot of vacant land, some farmland, and on the right here, you can actually go down a couple of streets and get to Jumper Loop, which is a really nice community. There's no HOA there. It's just a large loop called Jumper Loop, and there's some really nice homes. I've really never seen anything for sale there. Those lots sold probably 2 or 3 years ago, maybe even 3 or 4 years ago, and I probably should have bought one back then because I'm currently looking for a lot myself. There's some houses located on the street, larger homes, typically gated. You have a couple churches and a about a mile, we're going to turn left onto Lawrence Street, which is the Oaks community, and we'll check that out in a second. As I mentioned, current location, Lawrence Street. And this is the Oaks. The Oaks is $50 per year, not per month, per year HOA, so very minimal. Probably a little bit more lenient than Silverthorne, the last community we just looked at. There's no amenities in here. It's pretty much just an HOA to make sure that people are maintaining their lawns and keeping things well kept. In here, you're probably looking at pool. All these are pool homes, and they're ranging from 365 to 604. The smallest one being 1,700 square feet for 365. That's a 3.2. As you can see, most of the homes built in the either early 90s or early 2000s. There's a couple 89s in there. But yeah, you're looking at probably, on average, 400,000 to 500,000. Larger lots in here, at least a half acre typically. As you can see, the homes are a lot further apart than some of these other communities that we just looked at. And typically you'll find that in Spring Hill, the higher the HOA or the more amenities that you get, the less yard that you also get. So I think that a big hit here in Spring Hill, because we're more north than most places that are in the Tampa Bay area. I think a big hit would be a community that offers a new construction community that offers half acre lots and not these small communities that are like packed in like sardines. I guess it makes sense, with all the people moving here and moving to Florida, you need to build as many homes as you can. But I think people would pay a premium for a home on a larger lot and something that's done nicely. Because most people, I would say not most, but a lot of people that are moving here are retirees or people that are approaching retirement, and those people really don't care. Not all of them, but a lot of those people don't care about the amenities like pools and stuff like that. They want their own pool, and they also want to be away from everybody. They want their own space. They don't really want to be bothered. So I think that would be a huge hit. And we do have those options in communities like this and some older communities that have already been established and built. But I think as far as like new construction goes, we see a lot of these communities that are just people packed into as many homes as possible. And I think it would be pretty valuable and a pretty big hit if there was a builder that could do larger lots and medium to large homes. Now we're back on to Barclay though, after that long-winded explanation. I think a lot of people would agree with me though. But yeah, there's really not much else here. There's a fire department there, some residential here on the left, and then we're about a mile or so from Cortez Boulevard, which we covered in previous videos. So as always, I appreciate you guys watching. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out using the contact information below. You can also find all my videos and videos in this series in the description below. There's another apartment complex there on the right. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one.